It is my pleasure to welcome you to the School of Education's second annual Distinguished Alumni Awards ceremony. And we're pulling people away from a lot of excitement in there, but it's so good to have you here. I've asked our Associate Dean for Diversity and Values, Dr. Chinaka DomNwachukwu, to come and open us in prayer. Thank you.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we worship you this afternoon for this privilege to gather in honor of these women. That God, you gave us the grace and the privilege to encounter on their journeys to their life's calling. We thank you for their lives, their testimonies, the reports that we hear concerning them. We thank you for the many professors, administrators, and staff you used to shape them on the journey to where they are today. We thank you for the administrators that are working alongside of them, supporting them, and helping them. We thank you for the families that have empowered them to go out and make a difference in the world. We thank you that APU is a place where this can happen. We ask that your Spirit will take charge of our time together this afternoon. While we recognize these women, while we honor them, we ask that all the praise and all the glory be given to you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Well, for our winners, it is wonderful to have you back on campus, but for everyone, it is just a joy to have you join in this event today. About 2 years ago, we began to identify a bit more of some of the impact of our alumni, mostly across Southern California, some outside the state. We're well aware that we've got 10,000 plus alums. We don't know exactly how many, because those that earn a credential are not always recorded as alumni. But we know that across Southern California, great impact has been made. I'm going to take a minute, though. I'm going to detour and ask if you will, let me tell you a little bit about the group that's standing over here. The California Academy of Mathematics and Science is part of Long Beach Unified. They've been in existence since 1990, and since 1992, Joseph Carpenter has been a part of them. And is he here? There he is, yes. And so join me, first of all, in thanking him. Their emphasis on STEM is, well, STEAM too, isn't it? Is certainly well known. They are a public magnet high school with API scores that are the 4th highest in the state. And they have a campus built on the campus of Cal State University Dominguez Hills. I think what was most impressive is that the entire planning and setup were done by 2 student leads with the help of their colleagues, because they also have a responsibility to do outreach. That's part of their program. And so if you would join me in especially thanking Matthew and Edison, if you'll step forward. But a special thanks to all of you. You've made our day exciting. I think it was joyful for the younger students that were present, but even for those of us that are a bit older that really enjoy going around. And so your joy and knowledge was infectious, and you really added to the specialness of our day. So thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you. Now, I'm guessing you need to pack up, don't you? Because you've probably got a million other things to go to. So thanks for giving up part of your Saturday and for coming over here. And welcome back anytime, okay? Thank you. Thanks again. So let me go back to our conversation about our alumni. Actually, I just came back from having been in San Diego for 3 days of meetings with the California Teacher Commission, with deans of education from across the state. And it was remarkable to me in an event of several hundred people, how many sought me out and said, These are leaders on other campuses, leaders across the state, came across and said, I went to APU. So I began to take pictures of their name tags and was sending them back to Nori. I think she got a little tired of my emails, but our impact is substantial, and we take seriously our responsibility that not only are we preparing our candidates in teaching, school counseling, school psychology, and educational leadership to be the best they can be as professionals, but that they will learn this in the context of Christian values and principles. APU was founded in 1899 with an emphasis on God first, and 118 years later, that is still central to all we do. And so we hear that from districts and principals that are hiring, that they know that when they hire an APU alumnus, that they will have someone who not only has a good academic and professional credentials, but will have a good ethical standard that will really impact. And so today we gather to honor 3 such people. We have identified recipients for Outstanding Alumnus for Impact, for Influence, and for Innovation. And they were nominated, and it was a difficult selection process, so this was not an automatic run, okay? And so we're particularly proud of you. And so there will be 3 presenters who will each come up and introduce themselves and share a bit about the recipient, and then we will honor them individually. So good to see you all here.
My name is Michelle Cox. I am the director of the school counseling program here at Azusa Pacific University. And I have the great honor of introducing Shonda Burrus as the recipient of the School of Education's Alumna Award for Impact. This recognition was designed to honor an alumnus whose passion has made a remarkable difference. They have identified a need and implemented a change that has benefited their school, district, and/or community through their acts of service. Born and raised in Paducah, Kentucky, and I had to look up the pronunciation of that town, Shonda grew up in humble beginnings. In fact, she says that her childhood was more closely described as rusty fork and food stamps instead of silver spoon and luxury living. She, when she was 19, moved to California as a young mother and a wife of a U.S. Marine whose first duty station was in Camp Pendleton in North San Diego County. Since those early days on the West Coast, Shonda's work has always included children, from tutoring to youth ministry and to daycare. All of this experience confirmed her calling to work in education. During a transition process from being a stay-at-home mother to a single mother returning to the workforce, Shonda remembered her goal to complete an undergrad degree and enroll in APU's degree completion program. As she reflected on her own high school education, she was reminded of the influence of her high school coach, who took interest in Shonda and never gave up on the potential she saw in the young student. When Shonda had an opportunity to coach high school sports, her work intersected with knowledgeable counselors and assistant principals who modeled genuine love and care for students. This, coupled with her own educational experiences, confirmed a desire to become a school counselor. Shonda completed her master's in educational counseling in 2010. This accomplishment expanded her ability to influence students from similar backgrounds. Having grown up in low-income housing and then having become a mother at an early age gave her a special drive to encourage young women to think and dream beyond the boundaries, challenges, and circumstances of their lives. During her time as a secretary at Vista Murrieta High School, Shonda began an outreach to all African American girls on campus and formed the Black Coal and Roses Society. Through mentoring and coaching, her greatest desire is to empower every student to pursue their passions, believe in their dreams, and simply keep pushing despite the tribulations that come in everyday living. Shonda was nominated for this award by 2 APU school counseling professors, now her colleagues. One wrote this in nominating Shonda: 10 years have passed, and as I have witnessed Shonda's dazzling creativity, pervasive efforts, persistent drive, daily humility, and faith as she builds the Black Coal and Roses Society here at Vista Murrieta High School. Counselors are relieved, committed to, and refer students to her for support in grief groups held on campus. For her deep awareness of student challenges, her professional skills in designing programs of support, and her passion for making a difference in lives of young women in crucial times in their lives, it is with deep respect and great pleasure that we recognize APU alumna Shonda Burrus as a champion for academic support with the School of Education Alumna Award for Impact. Please join me in congratulating Shonda Burrus.
I'm honored and grateful to share this homecoming weekend with you as the recipient of the Impact Award today. 2017 has been a year of favor and blessings for me, but I'm excited today to have the opportunity in an open forum to give all praise, honor, and glory to the God who sits most high, and to whom I understand where every blessing comes from. So I sit here today and to continuously give him praise for what he's done in my life. But I'd like to share a little bit of my journey with you. I gave birth to my first child at the age of 15. To most at that time, I was a young girl from the projects of Paducah, Kentucky. Yes, you did say it right. Some seemed that I was only eligible and destined to the welfare line. But to one coach and math teacher, Cheryl Lancaster, she saw through a lens of hope, and she looked at me and she asked, well, Shonda, what is your plan? So when I think about the word impact, Cheryl Lancaster's name resonates in my thinking and always in my heart. Because she was a non-judgmental educator who saw the value in who I was as a young lady over my current situation and circumstance. So over the next 2 years, she unrelentlessly continued to ask me the same question. Shonda, what's your plan? Not only for you, but for your son. So as we fast forward today, present day, I've chosen to become a school counselor to serve students. My plan was to become an educator like Cheryl Lancaster. So with every sport that I've coached and every child that I've had the blessing to serve comes with encouragement and an expectation for them to have a plan. My hope in serving our students as a high school counselor is to see the value in each life, and to quote a friend and colleague, not simply as who they are, but who they are to become. Serving these kids at times means holding them accountable. It also means dancing with them during lunch, a little double dutch. It means rapping at pep rallies, speaking their language, giving an occasional hug, high five, providing lunch money, and at times they even eat my lunch. But most importantly, being honest and transparent enough to say I don't know when I don't know. Ultimately, as First Lady Michelle Obama says, my message to my students is don't ever let anyone make you feel like you don't matter, because you do. As we choose the path of educators, we accept the superpower that we are given to shape and impact lives. As I walk this educational journey, I'm often reminded of Psalms 139, verse 14, that reads, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. We are given a power to speak into the lives of children we serve, and I am most cognizant of that power. And this verse serves as the cornerstone that each student, family, and even our colleagues were created for a purpose. I am most grateful for the colleagues of Marty Quisenberry and Dean Lasico, who are also associate professors for Azusa, who thought enough of me to be considered for the Impact Award today. And to my family and my most dearest friends who are sharing today with me, I think of John 15:13 that says, greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for a friend. I have an anonymous quote at the end of the bottom of my email as a tagline, and it reads, if your presence doesn't make an impact, your absence won't make a difference. I choose to go to work every day not to be present, I choose to go to work every day and to be present to the students I serve, not so that they miss me in my absence, but to intentionally make a difference and to help them to determine their plan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I have the opportunity to introduce and present the award to Dr. Kim Lu Lawe, the School of Education Alumna Award for Influence. My name is Kent Bechler. I am the Associate Dean for External Partnerships and the former Superintendent of Corona Norco, and that's relative in that I hired Kim when I was Superintendent in Corona, and Kim is now an administrator there. It's with great honor that I introduce Kim as the recipient of the School of Education Alumna Award for Influence. This recognition was designed to honor an alumnus whose investment of his or her profession and time has made a lasting influence on the character, the development, or the behavior of their students. Kim more than meets the definition of this award. Much of the story that I will share with you this afternoon is drawn from a recent article in the APU Life, which highlighted Kim's influence and life. In 1977, at 8 months old, Kim's family escaped Vietnam in a fishing vessel under the cover of night. There were 79 on board, and 14 of the passengers were children. They experienced 10 harrowing days at sea, followed by 4 long months in a relocation camp. That courageous journey led to their family's future life in America, free to live out their Christian values. Kim attended 1st through 12th grades in the El Monte school systems. She earned a Bachelor of Science in Biology from the University of Redlands, a Master of Arts in Education with an emphasis on curriculum and instruction at Cal Poly Pomona, and in 2016, Kim completed her EDD in Educational Leadership from APU's School of Education. Her journey to becoming a leader in education was not an easy one. Kim struggled as a first-year teacher, uncertain she was meant for the important but demanding role. Her calling became evident in the middle of the school year when her students responded to a near-fatal collision caused by a drunk driver, which put Kim into intensive care. She awoke from a coma to a large number of heartfelt messages from her worried students who were wishing her a full recovery and anticipating her return. Her students' response stunned her to realize the impact she was having on their lives. Kim shared that a firefighter who pulled her from the wreckage said God was giving her a second chance. That helped her to clearly understand that she is here to fulfill her mission of serving His children, our future generations. Fast forward 2 decades of teaching and administration, and Kim is now the director of the Eastvale STEM Academy in the Corona Norco School District in Riverside County. Her guiding principle is to ensure that all students have access to a STEM education, whether they intend to be a surgeon or a medical office assistant. Because she believes the world needs capable workers at all levels, she opens the academy to any student with a desire to pursue these fields. Her commitment to diversity and inclusion led her to remove the GPA requirements and to provide an environment where special education students can also receive support. Built on her courageous history, her deep and strong commitment to the success of every student, and her commitment to student success, it is with deep respect and great pleasure that we recognize APU alumni Dr. Kim Lu Lawe as a champion for STEM students and their learning with the School of Education Alumna Award for Influence. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Kim Lu Lawe.
Okay, well, I don't have a speech written, but when the School of Education reached out to me about a month ago and said that I was selected to receive an award for influence, I asked myself, what have I done as a school leader to positively influence my organization, my students, and my staff? So I thought about it and I said, you know what? Influence is when a leader leads with the shared vision and leads from the heart. Influence is when a leader embraces change and sees that as an opportunity to do great things for students. Influence is when a leader sees mistakes and see failure as an opportunity to learn. Influence is when a leader values and advocates for equity for all students so we can provide access for all students and not just for the very few. And so I can keep going on and on about what influence means to me and what I've done in the last 10 years as an administrator. But what I'm always reminded of as I go out there and as we all go out there as educators to impact, to innovate, and to influence our God's kingdom for our students, what I'm reminded of is we need to put God in the center of our work. God has created us to do the work for him. And I don't think that I would have been able to do the work that I've been doing for our students and advocating for our students had it not been for God leading my life, walking me down the journey, whether I was in a coma for 3 months or, walking up the hills of Cal Poly Pomona, finishing my master's when I was still in a cast and pins in my feet. God walked with me the whole way, and so we are always reminded to make sure that we put God in the center of our work. I do want to thank the Azusa Pacific University and the School of Education for cultivating educators and leaders like myself to continue to go out there to do the work of God, but more importantly with the shared vision and belief that God first. It's always going to be God first. And so thank you very much.
Our third award today is for the School of Education 2017 Alumna Award for Innovation. And so it's with great honor that we recognize Christine McLaughlin as the recipient of the School of Education Alumni Award for Innovation. This award was designed to honor an alumnus who effectively utilizes active learning, experimentation, collaboration, and/or technology to inspire creative and innovative teaching and learning. Born in inner city Philadelphia to a single mother on welfare, Christine grew up in a family with a cycle of poverty that spanned many generations. During the summer of her 12th birthday, an aunt and uncle from Pasadena, California, arranged for Christine's family to attend Christian Family Camp in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. While there, Christine's mother felt the Lord telling her to move the family from Philadelphia to Pasadena. They returned from camp on Saturday, and the following Tuesday, they were Pasadena bound on a Greyhound bus, each with a few suitcases in hand. Although Christine was initially angry about the change, the move to California proved to be an integral part in preparing her to be an educator. She attended middle school and high school in Pasadena Unified School District, and as far back as she can remember, Christine always dreamed to be a teacher. She just lacked the belief that she could accomplish it. Growing up in a family devoid of college graduates, becoming a student in higher education appeared to be out of her grasp. After completing high school, Christine spent 20 years working as an administrator and an account manager for several Christian nonprofit organizations. But her dream to be a teacher still remained. Over this span of time, she was accepted to APU's undergraduate program not once, but twice. But she tells us that fear kept her from taking the next step of enrolling in the university. Eventually, she decided to attend Pasadena Community College to complete her general education requirements. That proved to be a beneficial and critical period for her, not only academically, but also in developing her personal and leadership skills. In 2004, she enrolled in APU's degree completion program and finished her undergraduate degree in 2006. After conquering her initial fear, she continued pursuing her dream to become a teacher and completed her multiple subject teaching credential and Master's in Education in Teaching at APU in 2008. When Christine began looking for employment, she knew that she wanted to work for Pasadena Unified School District, where she could communicate to her students, "I was you," and to give back to the community that invested in her. Christine remains in awe of the responsibilities and opportunities she has to impact students' lives. In her middle school English classroom, Christine strives to create a positive atmosphere where students feel safe, where students can make a mistake and learn from it without criticism, and where they leave her class learning something new every day. And one of the things that I heard earlier today is that 8th graders sneak back in her class to get the homework packets just to have time with her. Her classroom activities make vocabulary accessible and relevant to all students. In nominating Christine for this award, APU staff member Terry Griffith, who's with us today, wrote the following: "When my twins started middle school, I quickly learned about a teacher who inspired them, set high expectations, and made learning fun. This teacher is known and loved throughout Pasadena. Now my 3rd child is one of her students, and I can't adequately express how wonderful she is to the students and parents in our school community. She truly stands out as a light in our public middle school. It is with deep respect and great pleasure that we recognize APU alumna Christine McLaughlin as a champion for students and learning with the School of Education Alumna Award for Innovation." Please join me in congratulating her.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled and honored, and as I look out, I see so many wonderful people that I just want to recognize. First of all, Superintendent of Pasadena Unified Schools, Dr. Brian McDonald, is here today. He's also a professor here at Azusa Pacific. My first principal is here, Mrs. Sharon Leffler. A former principal, soon to be Dr. Trudell Skinner, here at Azusa Pacific as well. My current administrator, Maricela Brambilla, is here. She's our at Blair. My brother, he still puts up with me after all these years. My baby brother, and Robert, and his lovely wife, Julie. And then so many friends. My best friend in the whole world, Ann Balcom. I appreciate you and love you so much. My students are here. I have former students, 1, 2, 3, 5 or 6. Let's see if I can mess up their names. Abby, Emery, Grace, Ben, Emma, current student, Manal, current student, and their parents. Did I miss anybody? I hope not. Thank you for coming, and thank you for being part of this day. I'd have to say that people ask me, what is my trick to classroom management? Because I hear that I have good classroom management. And my normal response is, I basically am a middle schooler. I'm just a little bigger and just a little older. I really love having fun, and I love finding innovation, although I never really thought of myself as an innovator, but I get bored, so I want to think of new things to keep me excited and to keep me engaged, and I think if I'm excited about it, then hopefully they will be too. So the books I select, I try to pick ones that will teach a lesson about life that I think is important and will challenge them to think and to grow. And that's basically what I do. I'm grateful for Azusa. I applied here as an 18-year-old and kind of chickened out. I applied here as a 27-year-old and chickened out. And then eventually, when I was in my late 30s, I did it again. And I'm grateful for that. And I still am in awe. I was sharing with Mrs. Leffler earlier. I'm still in awe that I'm a teacher. I'm still in awe that my life is what it is. And sometimes I feel like I have out-of-body experiences, and I don't mean that literally. Be careful. I mean, be rest assured. That I feel myself watching myself and think, how did I get here? If you would have asked that 12-year-old girl from the inner city of Philadelphia if she would have ever attended college or traveled Europe or whatever, never was in my wildest imagination. And I'm grateful for a mother who believed that we didn't have to stay where we were and brought us to Lake Avenue Church. And it was at Lake Avenue Church when I was a sophomore that a friend of mine who was attending APU invited me for an alumni weekend, and I quickly fell in love with APU and the Donut Man. But in all seriousness, I am reminded of a verse that I think of often that really helps me to just remember how good our God is when often I feel frustrated or sad, and that is Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans that I have for you, declares the sovereign Lord, plans to give you a future and a hope. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What remarkable stories of God's goodness, His provision, persistence, grit, and lives dedicated to Him. What a difference that makes. And what a difference you're making in your locations, and we're just grateful for you and to have been a part of your journey. I want to take a moment now to thank some people. I got to just show up today. There's a lot of people that did work ahead of time, and so I want to single out just a few for recognition. In the back is Jessica Estrada, who is our events and communication goddess. She makes it all work, so thank you, Jessica. We're a Christian school, that's really not her title, but it kind of fits, okay? We also have some student workers that have helped us today, and they're wandering over that way, but we had Lorena, Destiny, and Danielle, among others, and they have just made today possible for you to enjoy. In particular, I want to give thanks and ask one day, Nori Connor, see, it's predictive, okay? We're talking about this. Nori Connor, who is our Director of Outreach, Alumni, and Professional Services, who really visioned this together about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and has worked tirelessly to make today possible. So if you will come on up, Nori. First of all, we want to thank you, so come on up. She has the vision to really connect the stories of our alumni with up-and-coming candidates, as well as to make sure that we are engaged with the broader community. So we're grateful for that. Thank you. If you'll come over, we have one more thing. So for those of you that have won awards, you get to leave today with a kind of heavy little award that will always remind you of us. But we also want to let you know that your name will now appear on a plaque. It's larger than a plaque in the Dean's Suite in the School of Education, so that all that come in will know. And so this is our 2nd annual, and so you're now on this. So let's show you. And so last year's recipient. So last year's recipient of the Award for Impact was Dr. Jason Song. And so Shonda Burrus, your name will now join him. Last year's recipient for Influence was Dr. Maria Armstrong, who is a superintendent up in the Sacramento area. And so Dr. Kim-Lu Lau, you will be joining her name there. And last year, Ted Lawe, who was from our Ed Technology program and now is a guru with Apple, was the winner of Innovation, and Christine McLaughlin joins his name this year. And so it will be with pride that we will have your name there, and to remind others, but also to be an inspiration, that your stories will continue to make a difference in the lives of the students you serve now, but also our candidates here on campus as they go out. So thank you for joining us today. The formal part of the program has ended. There is still plenty of food and lots of people that you probably want to take a few minutes to congratulate. We do want to ask all the award recipients if you'll come up here first so we can get a picture before everybody disperses. And the paparazzi can get at it then. But we'll have you come on up here now if you would. But thank you again for coming.